What's up everyone? So today I am going to start filming a vlog about me reading another booktuber's least favorite books. I've actually done this one other time. I read Beth's least favorite books. This was a couple months ago. And she ended up reading some of my least favorite books. And it was really funny because these are books that I rated like 1 or 2 stars and she ended up loving them. I think she rated like all of them 5 stars. So I'm curious to see if I am going to agree with Lena's 1 and 2 star books or if I'm going to enjoy them. And then you need to head over to Lena's channel. It's Lena's Bookshelf. So that way you can watch her vlog where she's reading my least favorite books and you can see if she is going to love the books that I didn't like. So I did some research. Lena sent me a huge list of her like 1 and 2 star books. And there were actually a lot of them that I've already read and I also agreed that they were 1 and 2 stars. There are a couple on there that I really liked already. I think there are 3 that I want to read for this video, or I'm going to try and read 3. So the options that I chose are Secret Slave. This is a like memoir, true crime of sorts, and I believe it's about sexual abuse and pedophiles and just stuff like that. I usually tend to really enjoy like true crime books like this just because it's so shocking to me, but I understand that like a lot of people could be triggered by things like that. I don't think that that's why Lena rated it those stars, because she usually reads really dark books like me, which is why we get along so well. But I'm not gonna read like her actual, if she has reviews, I'm not gonna read her reviews until after I would finish the book, just so that way I'm not like swayed by her review. Then another one I wanna try out is Happiness Falls. I actually haven't read anything by this author. I've been meaning to read Miracle Creek, but I am curious about this one. I actually forget what this one is about. I have a feeling it's like, I think this like dad goes missing or something like that. I don't know. I think it's more of like a crime thriller or like law type thriller, so I'll have to see if I like it. And then the last one I'm gonna try is Happy Place by Emily Henry. Now, I think that Lena has absolutely loved all of Emily Henry's books except for Happy Place. I believe that there was something to do with like a character she didn't really like or something in this one, or the representation wasn't what she was wanting. Now, I am the opposite. I have read Beach Read and I've read Funny Story, and I dislike Emily Henry's books. But I have heard from a lot of people that if you didn't like her other books, that you would like Happy Place, and that all the people that loved all her other books didn't like Happy Place. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to try this out. And then if I don't like this Emily Henry, I think I'm just gonna write her off as an author. Like, she's just not for me. I don't like her writing and it's just not something I'm gonna keep trying. So I put things on hold on Libby, and there is one of the books available. Looks like I could actually start Happiness Falls, which is the Angie Kim book. So I need to actually go work on some TBR cards for my Etsy shop. It's like my fun bookish game that you can buy in order to like make picking your next book really fun. I have some orders that came in from that because I'm running a sale currently right now. Alice is down for a nap, so I'm gonna try and start this book and maybe be able to give you some of my first thoughts before Alice would wake up. It'll be so interesting to see if I like any of these books. So far, oh, the sun is so bright. It's like the evening, so the sun is literally coming straight through the windows. And my eyes are watering now because of it. But so far, yeah, my book for this vlog is not going that well. So I've been reading Happiness Falls and I am 22%. I have been listening to the audiobook and reading the ebook when I can. It is so boring. I mean, I kind of want to know what happened to their dad, because their dad just goes missing all of a sudden, and like the location on his phone is moving. So like that is confusing to me, because it's like, is he actually missing or did he like run away or something like that? The actual book in and of itself, like the writing style, I can't stand. I actually don't really like that it's written from the perspective of the daughter, and she feels really young. Like I think she's supposed to be a teenager, but I almost feel like I'm reading from like a 6-year-old or a 10-year-old or something like that. Like it just feels very young, and I don't like reading from that perspective, like for the entire book. I also don't like the footnotes. I didn't even realize that there were footnotes when I was listening to the audiobook, but then when I was reading the ebook, it was so frustrating to have these like footnotes that the audiobook is talking about, but then it's in a whole, like obviously it's in the end of the chapter. But like, I'm not gonna go on my Kindle and like go to the end of the chapter and then go back to where I was, like when I'm listening to the audio and reading the ebook at the same time. So I am not loving it. I just put Alice to bed and I cleaned up and stuff. Alvin's actually away this weekend and my mom is coming for like a really short visit. So I don't know how much reading I'm gonna get done this weekend. Also, Alvin's friend let me borrow his Steam Deck. So I've been trying it out because it's definitely something that I was debating on whether I wanted, you know, like as my Christmas present this year. I'm actually gonna do a reading sprint with my patrons, and I'm gonna go upstairs because I've been like reorganizing my like office room, Etsy shop room and stuff. So I'm going to be working on that. But I honestly feel like I'm going to switch over to the other, like one of the other audiobooks. I think on 𝑣𝒎𝒂𝒛 is the Secret Slave. Ooh, wow. It's actually really short. It's only a 4-hour audiobook because I would listen to it on like 2 times the speed or whatever. Secret Slave, kidnapped and abused for 13 years. This is my story of survival because the Happy Place audio is not ready yet. It's obviously another day, and I actually just finished working on a bunch of cards. I'm about to go wake up Alice. But yeah, so I was working on my Etsy shop cards, and I decided to continue listening to Happiness Falls because the other day I had pulled out like my phone and was reading on the Kindle app. I think we were at the library or something, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna like continue reading this since I have a couple of minutes in the library, and I want to know like where this dad is. Like, is he missing? Is he murdered? Did he run away? Like, what is happening? But I listened to a bunch of it like today. I think I'm at 44%. And I'm literally going to DNF this book. I'm so sorry. Like, I want to know what happens. Like, where is this dad? What happened? What's the story? But it is so incredibly boring. I feel like it's one of those books where the character, like the main character, is just telling you every thought that has ever gone on in her mind forever and ever and ever. And I'm just so bored. Like, I literally hate this book. It's so bad. It's so bad. So like, now I kind of want to ask Lena to send me, like, I don't know if she has this book in like a wrap up or something, but I think I'm gonna ask her to send me like if she has thoughts in a vlog or something, so that way I can hear why she didn't like it and see if that's similar to why I'm not liking it or if it's a whole different thing. But I think I'm just gonna DNF this at 44%, and I'm going to see if there's like any reviews on Goodreads that have like spoilers, just so that way I can like figure out what happens, or I can always ask Lena, I guess. But my loan for Happy Place actually finally came in for the audiobook, so I think I'm going to hop over and try and start listening to that. I did listen to a chunk of that other book, but I think I'm going to have to like restart from the beginning because I think I missed some pieces. But it's like really dark and it has a lot of like disturbing things in it. So I need to go back and re-listen to it because it was like a very heavy topic when I was first listening and I was not paying attention as well. So I'm going to like restart that one, and then I can give you my thoughts on the beginning. And then I guess it's good because I'll be breaking it up with Happy Place, which is supposed to be a romance. So this vlog is not going too well. I'm having a hard time with the books that I'm supposed to be reading. Obviously because Lena's probably right and these books are just terrible. There are many times that Lena and I have agreed on books, and then there's like been times where obviously we have like completely the opposite taste. But I have a feeling that the books that I pick are ones that we're agreeing on. So I did ask her to send me if she had a YouTube video like explaining why she didn't like these books. So since I decided to DNF Happiness Falls, I'm gonna watch her video so that way we can see why she didn't like it, and that way I can even say if those are the exact same reasons, or maybe we even had different reasons. I don't know.
I went to my my 2-star book, and Venus Falls by Angie Kim, and this one makes me so sad because Angie Kim's first book, Miracle Creek, is so good. It was 5 stars. It is one of my favorite books. Like when I think of like 5-star suspense, literary suspense, that's what I think of. The reason that I gave this book 2 stars is that I think it was a disservice to have the whole book be from the point of view of the sister, one of the twins, the older siblings. She was this like quirky college age new adult that was trying to figure herself out and used a lot of like metaphors and things like that. It was just strange. I didn't enjoy being in her head. I didn't enjoy like the kind of snarky like meta responses. I didn't really enjoy the way she was kind of compiling her memories together. It didn't make much sense, and it didn't give me a clear timeline of what was happening and why. And I felt like my opinion of certain characters were jaded by the things that she said and the way she said them. So I felt like I didn't really get to know a lot of the characters.
Yes, I do agree with that. I don't know if it's for the exact same reasons, but I know that I said in one of these updates that I just did not like that, the way that it was told, like from just the sister, because I felt like we were just only ever in her thoughts and she was just always like narrating every single thought that she had. And I felt like it was written from a very like young perspective.
And it's a shame because I think it could have been a really well done book if we had been able to get multiple points of view, or if we had like an outsider's perspective. Maybe it had been written in 3rd person. I don't know. But this book just really didn't work for me, and I read it pretty quickly. I read it in a weekend because honestly I was just trying to get it over with. And it's such a shame because there were a lot of really great things in this book about the juvenile justice system and about ableism and how we treat people with disabilities and certain therapies for people who don't have typical language. And so all of those things I think could be really, really good, and a lot of it I appreciate because that kind of stuff is what I interact with on the daily basis, working in behavioral health, supporting people with disabilities, most of which do not have typical language. But I felt like it was done a disservice because of the point of view. So it really is a bummer. I almost wish that it could be rewritten in a different point of view or in 3rd person or something. So that's all I'm gonna say about that one. Like I said, it really is a bummer. I definitely think it's worth a try to see if maybe the POV is something that you can vibe with. But for me, it just was a no-go, unfortunately.
Okay, so we definitely agree. We agree exactly on that factor of like the way that the story is told was not done well because of who it is told by. So that actually makes me happier because it's not just me then. I wish I would have done this with Beth, where when I read the books that she didn't like, that I would have asked for like if she had YouTube videos or like a review that I could have read after the fact, so that way I could see why we both liked it or disliked it, you know what I mean? I obviously didn't read the whole entire book since I think I DNF'd it at like, I don't know, close to the 50% mark. So I didn't get to the point that she was talking about with like the justice system and her like liking that part, just because I just couldn't get through it like with the way it was told. But it is nice knowing that we both agreed with why we didn't like the book. I don't rate books that I DNF, so because I DNF'd that, I don't actually have a rating for it, but Lena did rate it a 2, and so probably if I would have finished it, I would have rated it very similarly. I did start reading Happy Place by Emily Henry, I don't even know, a couple days ago. And I am really struggling with it. I have not enjoyed any Emily Henry books. Do not like Emily Henry's writing, and I just do not like her romances. I think that she has her characters have these problems for no reason. So in Happy Place, I think I'm like 34%. I've been listening to the audiobook, and my goal is during nap time here, I'm gonna like read on my Kindle and listen to the audiobook, and then I definitely need to finish it by tomorrow because I need to edit this vlog and get it up for you guys. But my issue with this is we have Wynn and Harriet, who have been together. They're actually fiancés, I guess, or they were like engaged to be married. They've been together for a while, and they all used to be friends in this like friend group, and that's how they like got together. They were like the friends that got together in this friend group. and their friends are all going on this, like, I think it's like a yearly vacation or something. Harriet and Wynne have broken up. They're not engaged anymore, but their friends don't know that, and so they have to go on this vacation and just pretend that they're still together. I would like not pick this book up to read just because of that synopsis, because one of my #1 most hated things in romances is when the problem is always a lack of communication. Like, how are you not good enough friends with your friends to be able to tell them that your relationship is not like that you're not still together anymore, that it's ended? I just don't understand why in romance books people are always like lying, not communicating, not telling the truth, not being open with people, and yet they always want to like say that this romance is amazing and they're going to be with them for the rest of their life. Like, if you actually are friends with people and you actually are like dating people, you should be able to communicate. Like, that's a problem. And so I just already hate this book. Like, being 34% in, there's not one single thing that I like about it. And I also don't like that immediately when Wynne got to this like retreat vacation thing and Harriet was there, that he just like went up and like grabbed her and kissed her in order to like, you know, pretend that they're still together. But like, if you're broken up, you should not be doing that. Like, if you guys have broken up, I think that is absolutely totally wrong. Like, you don't know if she's seeing somebody else. You don't know if she, you know, I just feel like that was like absolutely wrong, and I would have been so extremely mad. I think that there is an underlying story of they do kind of still want to be together. If you are broken up, you should not do that to the person. Like, I just did not like it. So I'm having a hard time with it just because I hate the way that Emily Henry just writes in general. Like, listening to the audiobook, for me, I just don't think she does a great job with like characters, me liking the characters talking, listening to them talk. It's almost like these annoying children that like never shut up. That's what I feel about like with all of her characters all the time. So I don't know. I'm going to try and read more of it now and see how far I get. And I have to finish this book because I already DNF'd the first book, and the third book that I was gonna read for this, I just don't even have time to do. It's been a struggle bus to just focus on reading, especially books that I'm not liking. Maybe Lena's doing a lot better. It seems like other people do a lot better with these videos when they're reading my books because they actually like the books that I didn't like. Maybe she's having more fun with that vlog. I have been upstairs working on cards, which, by the way, I don't think I like showed you guys what this room looks like now that I like redid it and kind of made it like gaming and my Etsy stuff. So let me give you a quick tour, I guess. So on this side we have the gaming computer. So like Alvin will sometimes do work up here, but we both will like game on this PC. And then we have some records that I need him to hang up on the wall, but we haven't done that yet. And then I have my lights, and then I got an L-shaped desk for my Etsy shop. So I have my printer, I have some drawers down there, I have my laminator and everything. So that's really nice to have like my own space there. And then this shelf I'm probably going to hang on this wall. And then this is just a closet filled with some extra diapers and just some card supplies and stuff. It's just been so nice. Alvin and I were sharing that desk, like that whole entire desk. So I would always have to like move like my laminator stuff and like work on cards in this like really tiny little area. And then if he was like playing a game or wanted to like work on the computer like for work, he would have to move all my stuff out of the way. So it's just been really nice to like have my own space and be able to like have enough area to like work on cards and stuff. And then there's even, you know, like big opening. I have a little sensory bin here for Alice, so that way she can like play while I'm like working and doing things. It's actually almost time for her to get up, and I've been trying to listen to Happy Place again all day, and I think I'm 70 something. Let me look. I'm 72% in it. This book just feels like it is lasting for forever, and I do not like anything about it. I just can't get behind starting the book out with like this couple that's supposed to be engaged not being together anymore, not telling anyone about it, but then having to like pretend and fake it on this vacation. And I know I talked about earlier about like how I didn't think it was okay. Like, this was before they even had this conversation of like faking it on the vacation. Like, Harriet did not know that Win was going to be at this vacation, and so like when she saw him, that's when he just like came up and like held her and kissed her and all that kind of stuff, even though they were like broken up. Like she didn't know that those things were going to happen, and so that's why like I just don't think that was an appropriate thing to do. But in saying that, it's just so hard to like start a book out like that, and I feel like we just don't really get to know, like, I don't feel like I'm rooting for these characters. So it's like, okay, if they are gonna possibly get together again and they're going to like be engaged, I just don't see how that was like fixed. Like, how did you go from breaking up to like getting back together kind of thing? I just don't feel like Emily Henry does a good job with like making you believe that they should be together, and that was like my huge problem with Funny Story, was that I hated the ending and I did not agree with what happened at the end. So I don't know if this is going to be like similar in that way. But another thing that's like super frustrating is it feels like Emily Henry is writing these characters, like it's almost like she wants to be a really cool author. And so in both Funny Story and in this book, like she talks way too much about smoking weed, and like I don't really care like what people do and what they enjoy, you know, having as their downtime and stuff, but it almost feels like she's trying to be this like older, like these characters are in their 30s and it feels like she's like shoving this down our throats, like, oh, look how cool I am, like my characters are smoking weed in my book, like kind of thing. And so I just find it so weird, because if it's alcohol, there's not that much description. Like, okay, sure, in books all the time characters will drink alcohol, they'll get drunk. It's not pages and pages of having to bring up that they are drinking alcohol and getting drunk, but I feel like in the part that I was listening to, it's just non-stop talk about smoking weed, being high, and like what's going on in that. And I just feel like that's so weird. It feels like this like older millennial is just trying to be like cool and fit in, and so is weird. I also just find her characters in general for supposed to be, I think they're all supposed to be in their 30s, which I am 32 years old. And I love having a good time. Like I go on book club retreats with my friends, I drink with my friends, and we have a good time. But it's like, it's actually kind of weird like how much of like talk of partying in this book, but even just not even partying, it's like they were all talking about how they've all been naked in front of each other, and then they were like gonna go skinny dipping and stuff. And so for some people to be in a relationship within this friend group, like I understand they're all friends, but then to have like fiancés and like other people dating, and then like people getting naked, and it's just like, oh yeah, we're all drunk, we're all high, like let's all get naked kind of thing, or like you've seen me naked, like that's, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like that's kind of weird to say to friends, especially friends that are dating or potentially engaged to each other. I wouldn't want me and Alvin to be like engaged and like our friend group talk about seeing everybody naked. I just feel it's weird. I'm having a really hard time with this book, and I'm just gonna, you know, go ahead and listen to the rest of it and finish and like update my thoughts. I'm gonna watch Lena's video and see like what she disliked about it and why we disliked it, but I already know this is gonna be a 1 star. The only reason I'm not DNFing it is because I already DNF'd the first book and I don't want to DNF 2 books for this vlog. All right, I just finished Happy Place, and that was like the worst however many hours of my life trying to listen to that audiobook. I'm giving Happy Place 1 star. I hated every second of it. Pretty much everything I talked about before just kept going throughout the whole entire book. Like the miscommunication was so bad, and like this book could not make me believe in Win and Harriet. I just feel like it could have been written better, where you actually felt for the characters and you understood why they broke up, and then the ending was incredibly stupid. Hi. It's Alice. There she is. There's Alice. She can walk now. You want to show that you can walk? There she goes. We've got a walker now. I'm going to watch Lena's review video here and see if we agree on why we both didn't like it. And this is actually on her worst books of 2020 or 2023 list.
This makes me so sad because I love Emily Henry. I've given all of her adult romances either 4 or 5 stars, and this was one of my most anticipated books of the year. But first of all, this isn't a romance. It has like one like half steamy scene in it, I guess you can call it that, but it was cringy. And it's really like a friend story, so it felt like chick lit. Number two, I felt like there was just gaslighting just like woven through this whole book. So essentially you have this friend group that comes to this beach house every year, and they all show up, and the friends didn't know that two of them that were dating are no longer dating anymore. And they show up there, and the guy just pretends like they're dating and is like just pulling this girl along and making her pretend like they're still together when they're not. And she kept telling him like, I don't want to do this. This is confusing. I don't like this. And he was like, but is it confusing? Like, is it though? Or are you just confused? Because I'm not confused. And it just felt so gaslighty. And she kept telling him that she was uncomfortable with it and she didn't want to do it. And he was like, it'll be fine. You'll do it for me, right? And just ridiculous. And the reasoning that he gave for why their relationship ended and why he treated her the way he did was not an acceptable excuse, I don't think. And it was bad. And then the ending of this book reminds me of the ending of the movie Grease. So think about that. I'm not trying to spoil this for anybody, but just think about the ending of that movie. This is not the Emily Henry that I know and love, and I'm hopeful that her next release will be more like her first three. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Basically, it seems like we agree with the whole like miscommunication, gaslighting, all that kind of stuff. Although Lena did say like, it's like this isn't the Emily Henry that like wrote the first 3 books. I have now read 3 Emily Henry books and hated all of them. So for me, I just feel like this is Emily Henry, and I just do not like the way that she writes. I do not like her characters. I don't like anything about her books, and I usually don't agree with how her characters act and how things end. Like, I feel like a lot of times Emily Henry just wants us to like forgive all the characters. I almost feel like she's gaslighting us if you think about it, and I don't fall for it. Like, especially in Funny Story, I did not agree with that ending at all. Unfortunately, I didn't get to the 3rd book for this vlog, but I don't know, is this vlog a success because I agreed with Lena, or is the success supposed to be that I liked the books that Lena didn't like? I view it as like, okay, Lena and I do have very similar tastes, so if you like things that I read, definitely go check out her channel. But that's it for this video. I will see you guys in another video soon. Bye everyone.